Padre Pio once warned with fire in his voice, "If you dare to place the Virgin beside the wrong object, the demons will not knock politely at your door. They will walk right in. They don't need permission slips. They don't wait for midnight. They slip into the air you breathe, the dreams you sleep in, and the prayers you thought were safe. You wonder why your home feels heavy, why your rosary feels unanswered, why peace never seems to stay more than a moment. And you never think to look at the shelf where Mary is standing, surrounded by objects you thought were harmless. Because what looks innocent on your shelf may be the very reason your prayers bounce back unanswered. You light a candle, you whisper the rosary, you beg heaven to move, but the ceiling feels like brass and the air feels like stone. Why? Padre Pio would tell you because the honor due to Mary has been poisoned by what you placed next to her image. The blessings that flow from heaven do not flow through altars that are mixed, confused, polluted. And yet so many Catholic homes, so many Christian homes carry this wound in silence. The mother who said yes to God cannot be placed side by side with idols who said no. The mother who crushed the serpent cannot be framed beside symbols that invite him back. And still, countless women keep photos of Mary on the same table as statues they bought on vacation, or masks they thought were art, or crystals they thought were just pretty stones. They don't realize that every object carries a meaning in the unseen realm, not neutral, never neutral, either holy or profane, either drawing angels or attracting demons. Padre Pio knew it, the saints knew it, and the enemy knows it all too well. So let me ask you, and don't answer too quickly, if Mary's blessings can be blocked, what's sitting in your house right now? What object sits 2 feet away from her statue? What painting looks down on your prayer corner? What book rests on the same shelf as your Bible? You think it's nothing. You think it's decoration. But in the eyes of heaven, it's an altar. In the eyes of hell, it's an open invitation. This is not superstition. This is not fear-mongering. This is spiritual warfare disguised as interior design. And the ones who suffer are not strangers. They are your children, your grandchildren, the people you love most. The atmosphere of your home is the air they breathe. And if that air is thick with the residue of objects that dishonor Mary, their hearts will grow restless, their minds will grow clouded, their sleep will be troubled. How many times have you seen your family drift away from prayer, lose patience, snap at each other for no reason? And you never thought to ask, could the cause be sitting right there on the shelf beside Mary? It takes courage to face this truth. It takes humility to admit that you might have brought something into your house that offends the very queen you asked to protect you. Padre Pio was fierce on this. The devil will use anything, an image, a statue, a book, a charm, to claim a corner of your home. And once he claims a corner, he tries to claim the whole. You cannot mix light and darkness. You cannot ask Mary to shield you while you give Satan a seat at the same table. So here is your first act of war. Right now, type in the comments, "Protect my home, Mother Mary." Write it not as empty words, but as a declaration. By typing it, you are drawing a line. You are saying, my home belongs to her Son. My family belongs to heaven. My walls will not host idols. You are saying, I choose blessing, not curse. I choose purity, not compromise. I choose protection, not invasion. And yet the question presses deeper, because it's not enough to shout declarations. You must uncover the enemy's tricks. There are 3 categories of forbidden objects, 3 classes of items Padre Pio warned against, 3 doors through which demons walk freely while families stay blind. They are not obvious to everyone. They are not labeled danger, and they hide under the cover of art, culture, memory, entertainment. But they wound Mary. They block blessings. They dishonor the altar of your home. The first category is the most deceiving because people think it's harmless decoration. They bring it home from trips, they buy it at thrift shops, They hang it on walls to add character. They never imagine that while their children are sleeping, the spirits behind those objects are whispering curses into the air. They never imagine that heaven itself turns away from an altar polluted by false gods. They never imagine that the mother's tears fall quietly when she is forced to stand beside them. Padre Pio's voice echoes even now. Do not put Mary where she is dishonored. Do not place her image where her purity is mocked. Do not let demons sit where angels are meant to dwell. These words are not polite suggestions. They are warnings bought in blood and prayer. He knew the cost of ignoring them. He saw souls torn apart by what they thought was harmless. And he begged the faithful, cleanse your homes, guard your altars, honor the mother who guards you. So I ask again, what is sitting in your home right now? What object rests quietly, waiting for you to overlook it one more day? What statue, what mask, what trinket shares space with Mary's image? And if Padre Pio walked into your house today, would he smile at your altar or would he weep? Because the truth is not hidden anymore. The veil is torn. The categories will be revealed. And once you see them, you cannot unsee them. Once you hear them, you cannot pretend you didn't. The choice will be yours. Leave them and live under a curse, or remove them and let blessings flood again. The battle is not in Rome, not in cathedrals, not in distant places. The battle is in your living room, in your bedroom, on your bookshelf. The war is not someday, it is tonight. And the first forbidden category? It is waiting to be exposed. It is the most deceiving, because people think it's harmless decoration. There was a family who looked perfect from the outside, a mother who prayed the rosary every night, a father who never missed Sunday Mass, children who grew up surrounded by holy images. If you stepped into their home, you would smell candles burning, see flowers on the table, and hear hymns playing softly. To anyone who visited, it looked like a fortress of faith. Yet inside those walls, something wasn't right. Their prayers for peace kept bouncing back empty. Arguments flared for no reason. Their children had nightmares that left them trembling. No matter how many rosaries they prayed, the heaviness in the house never lifted. What was wrong? Why did heaven feel so far when they were doing all the right things? Padre Pio would have pointed to the altar. There was a beautiful statue of the Blessed Mother, her hands folded, her face tender. A crucifix hung above her, and a candle flickered at her feet. But just to the side of the altar, on the very same shelf, sat an object they had brought home from a vacation. A wooden mask, carved by foreign hands, once used in rituals they didn't understand. To them it was art, to the enemy it was a doorway. Padre Pio said it plainly, every object carries a spirit, not neutral, either holy or profane. You cannot set a crucifix next to a mask once offered to demons and expect the air to stay clean. You cannot pray for protection while giving darkness a permanent seat in your home. Heaven will not compete with idols. Mary will not share her space with shadows. The mother in that family didn't know. She only knew her prayers were hitting walls. She only knew her children woke up crying in the night. She only knew her peace was leaking away like water from a cracked jar. What looked like harmless art was poisoning the atmosphere of her home. And Padre Pio's warning was as true for her as it is for you. Not every object belongs where Mary dwells. Picture it clearly. A glowing statue of the Virgin, white and pure, her mantle stretching wide. And right beside her, a carved mask with hollow eyes, staring into the room. Light and darkness on the same shelf. Purity and corruption sharing the same air. Can you imagine how heaven sees that scene? Can you imagine how demons laugh at the insult? The angels who long to fill your home with peace cannot stand guard while idols sit enthroned next to Mary. Your home is not just wood and stone. It is a battlefield. Every wall is contested ground. Every shelf is an altar, whether you admit it or not. The books you place, the images you hang, the objects you treasure, they speak in the spiritual world. Some declare Christ, some invite darkness, but none are silent. That is why Padre Pio fought so hard to teach discernment. He knew the devil is subtle. He doesn't storm in waving flags. He slips in through the things you call harmless. He hides behind gifts, souvenirs, decorations. He whispers, "It's just art. It's just culture. It's just tradition." But there is no just in the unseen world. There is only holy or profane, blessed or cursed. You must look at your home with new eyes. You must see beyond the surface. The cross is not just wood, it is victory. A rosary is not just beads, it is a chain that binds Satan, and in the same way, a mask is not just decoration if it once carried worship to false gods. A crystal is not just pretty if it was cut for spells. A book is not just paper if it glorifies impurity. Padre Pio knew the truth. Objects preach whether you listen or not. So ask yourself, and ask honestly, what is preaching in your home right now? What words do your walls speak? What sermon does your shelf preach? When your children sleep, what voices echo through the air? Is it the Ave Maria rising from the altar? Or is it the mocking laughter of idols standing beside her? It takes courage to see it, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you realize that every object carries a spirit, you must make a choice. Either cleanse or compromise. Either guard or gamble. Either honor Mary or insult her. There is no middle ground. And yet, so many women, good women, faithful women, have unknowingly allowed these things into their homes. A neighbor gave them a souvenir. A friend gifted them a carving. A child brought home a poster. They didn't mean harm, but intention does not erase reality. Heaven does not measure excuses. It measures honor. And if Mary is dishonored, blessing is blocked. So the question presses you tonight. So what is the first forbidden category? What is the doorway the enemy loves most to disguise? You've seen hints already. You've heard the warning. You've pictured the altar divided in two. But now the truth will be named, and once it is, you will not be able to pretend again. The first forbidden category is not what most people expect. It is not the obvious instruments of evil. It is the objects that hide under beauty. The souvenirs that disguise themselves as art. The statues and masks and images of false gods that so many families display proudly without a second thought. And here is the sting. It's not just in other people's homes, it's in ours. It's in yours. Sitting quietly, collecting dust, pretending to be decoration. But in the eyes of heaven, it is betrayal, and in the eyes of hell, it is permission. It's the idols of false gods, often sitting in homes without people even noticing. Buddha statues on mantels, Hindu gods carved in bright colors, wooden totems standing tall in corners, African masks with hollow eyes staring out from the wall. People bring them home as souvenirs, tokens of culture, art pieces that add character. They place them next to family photos, next to shelves of books, and sometimes even next to a statue of the Blessed Virgin herself. What feels harmless in the natural world is poison in the spiritual. And Padre Pio did not mince words. You cannot honor the Mother of God next to a pagan god. It is an insult in the spiritual realm. Think of it like this. Imagine a mother sitting at her dining table, her child in her arms. Would you place an enemy's portrait right in front of her face? Would you force her to eat while staring at someone who tried to harm her child? That's what happens in the spirit when Mary is placed side by side with idols. To human eyes, it's decor. To heaven, it's dishonor. To hell, it's an invitation. Padre Pio called it exactly what it is, an open window for demons. A window that doesn't need to be wide, just cracked enough for shadows to slip through. There was once a woman, devout in prayer, who loved her blessed mother deeply. She decorated her prayer corner with candles, flowers, and a rosary draped over a framed picture of Mary. But beside that picture sat a mask she had bought on a trip to Africa. She thought it was beautiful, carved with great skill, a reminder of a place she had once visited. She never knew its history. She never asked what ceremonies it had been made for. She simply placed it on her wall right next to Mary. And then the nights began. Every evening, after the rosary, she would go to bed with peace in her heart. But when darkness fell, shadows moved in her room. She woke up to the sound of footsteps where no one was walking. Black figures appeared at the corner of her bed. Her children cried out in their sleep, saying they saw faces they couldn't describe. She begged heaven to intervene, but the attacks continued. Only when a priest visited her home did the truth emerge. His eyes fell on the mask. He told her bluntly, "Remove it, burn it. This is no art, it's an idol. You cannot place Mary beside a demon's face." She obeyed. The mask was destroyed. That very night, the shadows left. The children slept soundly. The atmosphere of the house changed instantly. This is not superstition. This is reality. You can pray all you want, but if the altar itself is contaminated, heaven will not pour blessings where idols sit. It's like trying to light a candle in a storm. No matter how many times you strike the match, the wind will snuff it out. Mary's presence brings light, but idols are winds of darkness. Place them together, and the light flickers. Remove them, and the light shines strong. You must understand, idols are not decorations. They are spiritual anchors. Wherever they sit, they claim territory. They may look powerless, wood, stone, clay, but the spirits behind them are not powerless. Padre Pio fought those spirits in confessionals, in sick rooms, in monasteries where demons screamed at his prayers. He knew what idols invited. He knew that once you let them into your home, they will not leave willingly. They must be thrown out with violence, like Christ cleansing the temple. Look around your home. Do you see a Buddha statue someone gifted you? Do you see a Hindu elephant god on a shelf? Do you see a tribal mask with eyes that seem too alive? Ask yourself, why is it there? What does it serve? Does it honor Christ, or does it compete with him? You cannot serve two masters. You cannot bless Mary with one hand while propping up false gods with the other. Heaven does not share, and Mary, the pure mother of Christ, will not stand shoulder to shoulder with idols. Say it with your mouth now. Say it as an act of war. Declare, "Only Christ is Lord in my home." Write it, speak it, seal it. When you declare it, something shifts. The enemy hates declarations because they are like fire that burns his contracts. Say it until your walls hear it. Say it until the objects tremble. Say it until the chains break. And don't think this is rare. Walk into homes across the world and you'll see it. Idols standing quietly beside crucifixes, statues of Mary surrounded by carved gods. People say, it's just culture, it's just memory. But the demons don't care what you call it. They only care that it gives them legal ground. They will twist your words. They will exploit your ignorance. And they will laugh when your prayers are blocked. Padre Pio's heart bled for souls trapped by what they didn't even realize. He warned again and again, cleanse your homes. Honor Mary with purity. Do not dishonor her by letting idols mock her presence. It is not just about respect. It is about warfare. Idols are weapons in the enemy's hand. Remove them, and you break his grip. Keep them, and you feed him strength. So tonight, take courage. Walk through your rooms with eyes wide open. Look at every object with fresh vision. Ask yourself, is this holy or is this profane? Is this blessing or is this curse? If it is not holy, it does not belong. If it does not honor Christ, it is an insult to Mary. And if it insults Mary, it opens a window for demons. You have prayed long enough while idols mocked your faith. It's time to end the mockery. It's time to cleanse. It's time to close every window the enemy has opened, because idols are not the only trap. Many women keep something even darker, thinking it brings positive energy. Crystals glowing on windowsills, tarot decks wrapped in silk, pendulums dangling from silver chains, dream catchers swaying above beds. These are the objects women often call harmless, even beautiful, even protective. They say, it's just for peace, it's just for energy, it's just for balance. But Padre Pio's voice cuts through the excuses. What you call energy, the Bible calls witchcraft. What you call harmless, heaven calls profane. What you think guards your sleep may be the very snare that drags your soul into unrest. Picture it. A home with a lovely altar, Mary's statue, a rosary draped across her hands, a Bible opened on the table. Candles flicker, flowers bloom, but look closer. On the same table lies a crystal cluster, polished and glowing, a tarot deck tucked neatly in a box. To human eyes, it looks spiritual. To heaven, it looks like betrayal. To hell, it looks like an invitation to step inside. You cannot bless the Mother of God while leaning on the tools of sorcery. You cannot ask for divine protection while keeping the enemy's toys on your shelf. There was a woman who longed for love. She bought a rose quartz crystal because someone told her it would open her heart to romance. She placed it near her image of Mary, praying for a husband while holding the crystal in her hand. She thought she was doubling her chances, but instead of joy, her life turned bitter. The man she met was unfaithful. Her heart broke, her nights filled with tears. And every time she reached for the rosary, it felt heavier, like the words were choked. She didn't understand until a priest told her, "You mixed prayer with sorcery. You gave demons permission to enter your prayer corner." She threw the crystal away, and little by little, peace returned. The Word of God had warned long before. Está escrito en Deuteronomio 7:8 that anyone who practices divination, sorcery, interpretation of omens, or consultation with the dead is detestable to the Lord. Crystals for energy, tarot for guidance, pendulums for answers, they all fall under the same condemnation. Heaven does not deal in energy, heaven deals in spirit, and the Spirit of God does not share space with counterfeit spirits. But here is the lie. The enemy wraps darkness in beauty. He sells rebellion as therapy. He packages witchcraft in pink, in glitter, in soothing words. This crystal will calm you. This dream catcher will protect your child's sleep. This card will reveal your destiny. And mothers place them beside Mary, thinking they are doing good. But Padre Pio's warning is clear. These are open channels. They are not innocent. They are contracts in disguise. Imagine a soldier at war. Would he ever hang the enemy's weapon in his camp for decoration? Would he ever wear the enemy's insignia as jewelry? Never. Yet that's exactly what happens when Christians keep witchcraft objects in their homes. They say, it's just decor. But in the spiritual realm, it is allegiance. It is opening the gate and telling demons, you are welcome here. Say this out loud, right where you are. Break the contract with your tongue. Speak the words heaven hears and hell fears. I renounce every false source of power. Write it in the comments. Say it in your room. Declare it over your children's beds. Words spoken in faith are swords that cut contracts to pieces. Padre Pio knew the power of declarations. He saw demons tremble when souls renounced the tools of darkness. Think about your home tonight. Do you see crystals on a shelf? Do you see a deck of cards hidden in a drawer? Do you see a pendulum you once thought was fun to try? These are not toys. They are chains. They look light, but they weigh heavy in the spirit. They choke blessings. They cloud prayers. They block heaven's flow. And here is the cruel irony. The very objects people keep for peace are the same objects that invite restlessness. The crystal doesn't calm, it agitates. The dream catcher doesn't protect, it entangles. The tarot doesn't guide, it deceives. And when Mary's image sits beside them, her tears fall. She cannot pour blessings where idols of witchcraft mock her purity. This is the second forbidden category, and it is more subtle than the first. Idols at least look like idols, but witchcraft objects often disguise themselves as pretty stones or cultural crafts. That's why so many women keep them, thinking they are harmless. But harmless is the devil's favorite mask. Harmless is the bait that lures souls to sleep. Harmless is the word that has led countless homes into bondage. So tonight, the veil is off. You see clearly now. There is no middle ground. Either your altar is holy or it is contaminated. Either your home belongs to Christ or it is divided. And a divided home cannot stand. You cannot call on Mary while holding hands with sorcery. You cannot plead for heaven while keeping tools of hell. It is time to cleanse. But hear this. Even darker than idols, even more deceptive than crystals, is the third category. The enemy's cruelest weapon. Because this one doesn't hide behind culture or beauty. This one parades boldly. It glorifies sin itself. And countless women, without knowing, place Mary's image right beside it, breaking her heart and blocking heaven's flow. The question presses again. What could be darker than idols and witchcraft? What could wound Mary more than masks and crystals? What could insult heaven more than cards and pendulums? The answer will shake you, because it's not about foreign gods, not about energy, it's about sin paraded as art. And many have placed it right beside the Mother of God without even blinking. But the time for blindness is over. The time for cleansing is now, and the revelation of the third forbidden category waits at the door. There are homes where Mary stands beside crucifixes, where rosaries hang on walls, where candles glow softly. And yet, on the very same walls, posters of rebellion scream out. On the very same shelves, books glorifying impurity sit proudly. On the very same tables, magazines filled with shameful images rest next to Bibles. You may think it doesn't matter. You may tell yourself, it's just entertainment. It's just art. But heaven does not call it art. Heaven calls it insult. And Padre Pio warned, to place the Mother of God beside impurity is not only disrespect, it is spiritual insult. Think about it. Mary is pure. She is the woman clothed with the sun, crowned with stars, holding the child who is light himself. She is the one who crushed the serpent underfoot. She cannot, she will not, be placed beside images that glorify sin. Every photograph that worships lust, every book that celebrates rebellion, every film poster that mocks holiness, when placed near her image, spits in her face. It is saying, Mother, I honor you, but I also honor the very things that pierced your Son. Do you think heaven ignores that? Do you think blessings flow where sin is enthroned beside Mary? There was a family, deeply Catholic, who had a beautiful image of Our Lady of Guadalupe on their living room wall. But right next to it, their teenage son had taped up posters of bands whose lyrics cursed God and celebrated violence. The parents shrugged it off. He's just young. It's just music. But over time, the house grew heavy. Arguments broke out daily. The son grew angrier, darker, more rebellious. He stopped going to church. He refused to pray. And when the mother finally went to confession, the priest asked her, "What sits beside your holy image at home?" Her eyes filled with tears as she realized she had allowed her son's rebellion to be displayed on the same wall as Mary. She tore the posters down. Slowly, peace began to return. Objects speak. Images preach. They do not sit silent. Every picture hung in your home declares a message in the spiritual world. Some declare purity. Others declare filth. Some honor Christ. Others mock him. Padre Pio knew this, and that is why he fought so hard against compromise. He saw the damage when Christians placed impurity beside holiness. He saw blessings blocked, prayers unanswered, families under siege. What about the books you keep? The movies stacked on your shelves? The photos framed in your hallways? Some of them breathe life. Some of them breathe death. Mary cannot pour grace into a house that displays corruption like a trophy. She is not mocked. She is not blind. She sees it all. Say these words out loud. I cleanse my house. I honor my mother. Say it again. Say it until your walls shake with the sound. These are not empty phrases. They are declarations that rip down banners of darkness. They are weapons. They are fire. When you say them, you are driving out the spirit that clings to every shameful object in your home. You are cutting ties. You are closing doors. This is the third forbidden category, the most painful of all. Because it is not about foreign gods or crystals pretending to heal. It is about sin itself paraded in plain sight. It is about impurity hung like art. It is about rebellion kept as memory. It is about mocking holiness with every object that glorifies what Christ died to destroy. And so many families, without thinking, place Mary right beside it. Think of the insult. Think of the heartbreak. The pure mother stands in your home, watching as lust-filled images hang inches away. She stands with open hands, while shelves of books glorifying adultery, pride, and violence press against her. She waits with tears in her eyes, while you offer her flowers on a table also holding magazines that dishonor her son. Padre Pio wept over this. He knew the weight of dishonor. He knew the price of mixing light with darkness. Your home is not just four walls, it is an altar. And altars are never neutral. They are either clean or contaminated, either holy or defiled, either guarded by angels or invaded by demons. Which one is yours? What message do your walls send tonight? What song do your shelves sing? What sermon do your pictures preach? It is not too late to change, not too late to cleanse, not too late to throw down every object that insults Mary, not too late to rebuild your altar with purity. Imagine your home after the cleansing. Imagine walking into your living room and feeling peace instead of heaviness. Imagine hearing your children laugh freely, without nightmares, without shadows. Imagine praying the rosary and feeling the words rise like fire, unhindered, unstoppable. That is what happens when Mary is honored. That is what happens when impurity is removed. You must make a choice. Will you let impurity sit beside Mary? Will you let rebellion decorate your walls? Will you let books of shame share shelves with your Bible? Or will you cleanse, remove, cast out? Heaven is watching. The angels are waiting. Mary longs to bless, but she cannot bless where sin is celebrated. This is the line. This is the moment. Say it again. I cleanse my house. I honor my mother. Say it until it sinks deep into your spirit. Say it until your family joins you. Say it until the air itself feels lighter. But the question still lingers. What now? You've seen the idols. You've uncovered the crystals. You've faced the impurity. But what must you do? How do you reclaim your home? How do you consecrate it so Mary can dwell freely, so blessings flow without hindrance? Padre Pio left a path, and it is simple, but it demands action. The answer waits in the next revelation. The cleansing alone is not enough. The home must be consecrated. The family must take a stand. The altar must be rebuilt. And Padre Pio's challenge will demand not just belief, but movement. The 3-day path is about to be unveiled. And if you walk it, your home will never be the same. This is the moment. You've heard the warnings. You've seen the traps. You've walked through the idols, the crystals, the impurity. And now heaven stretches out its hand. Padre Pio's challenge is not complicated. It is not a maze of theology or a burden too heavy to carry. It is a path, simple, clear, powerful. 3 days that can shift the atmosphere of your entire house. 3 days that can close doors to darkness and open windows to grace. Day 1 is the day of cleansing. You walk through your home with eyes wide open, no longer blind, no longer excusing. You see every object as a declaration, every picture as a sermon, every shelf as an altar. You take each idol in your hands, Buddha statues, carved masks, totems, and you remove them. You pick up every crystal, every tarot deck, every pendulum, and you cast them out. You gather magazines, posters, books that glorify impurity, and you destroy them. Do not put them in a box. Do not store them for later. They are not memories. They are contracts. They are not souvenirs. They are snares. Burn them, break them, throw them away. As you do, speak it out. This home belongs to Christ. This home belongs to Mary. Darkness, you have no place here. And that is day 1, the day demons lose their grip. Day 2 is the day of consecration. Once your home is clean, you cannot leave the altar empty. An empty altar is a danger, so you rebuild. You take a crucifix and place it high, where every eye in your house can see. You place your rosary where hands can reach it daily. You open your Bible and let its pages rest in the light. You add flowers, not for decoration, but as living honor to Mary. You light candles, not for mood, but for prayer. You make a space where heaven feels welcome, where angels linger, where Mary smiles. And as you rebuild, you pray out loud, Mother Mary, I consecrate this altar to you. Guard this space. Fill this house with your presence. Let blessings overflow here. That is day 2, the day heaven claims territory in your home. Day 3 is the day of sharing. This is not just about you. Darkness is not content to haunt only your family. It reaches for your friends, your neighbors, your children's homes, your loved ones scattered across the country. So you become a messenger. You pass the warning. You tell them what you have done. You invite them into the challenge. You share the message with family members who need protection, with friends whose prayers feel blocked, with children raising homes of their own. Padre Pio's challenge is not meant to stop with your house. It is meant to ripple through generations. That is day 3, the day you multiply freedom, the day your obedience becomes a shield for others. And here is the truth spike that shakes the air. When Mary is honored, blessings flow. When dishonored, doors open to darkness. There is no neutral. Your house is not half safe, half vulnerable. It is either guarded or invaded. Which will it be? Your decision writes the future of your family. Your obedience writes the story of your children. So now I ask you, not as a suggestion, but as a prophetic command. Write the name of your family in the comments. Let the world see it. Let heaven see it. Let Mary hear it. When you write those names, the community will pray for them. The chain will grow stronger, and demons will tremble at the sight of families publicly sealed under Mary's protection. Do not hold back. Write your names boldly. And together, we pray. Right now, wherever you are, speak these words with me. Mother Mary, I cleanse my house. I remove every object that dishonors you. I consecrate my altar to you. I honor you with purity, with prayer, with faith. I declare, My home belongs to Christ alone. My family is sealed under your mantle. No darkness may enter. No curse may stay. Only blessing, only peace, only protection flows here. Amen. Say it again. Whisper it. Shout it. Let your walls hear it. Let your children hear it. Let the spirits hear it and flee. This is the climax. This is the turning point. For some of you, this is the first time your home will truly breathe. For some of you, this is the moment your children will sleep without fear. For some of you, this is the night chains break and blessings flow like water. Do not underestimate it. Do not delay it. 3 days is all it takes. But now comes the final question. You have heard the warning. You have heard the challenge. You have prayed the declaration. And still, heaven waits for your answer. Will you obey? Will you cleanse? Will you consecrate? Will you share? Or will you let the windows stay open, the doors stay unlocked, the idols stay seated? Now the choice is in your hands. Which door will stay open in your home?